Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Commodity TV here for the really first time of our new studios here in Herisau in Switzerland. We have a new company, new interview partner. It's Adrian, Byass, the CEO of Infinity Lithium, and the company is on the path to become the next lithium producer here in Europe. And we want to talk about the terrific company. Adrian, wonderful to have you here. Thanks for taking the time.
It's an absolute pleasure, Joachim.
Great. Infinity Lithium, what's your company about? From where are you coming? Where are you working?
Look, it's a very interesting story. We have a great project in Europe in which we are focusing on, but we're an Australian company listed on the Australian Stock Exchange as well as the Frankfurt Stock Exchange.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. So you are working in Spain, right? And what is the company now? In which phase are you? I mean, you have already a resource, of course, and you're working towards production, right?
Certainly, and that's a key thing to understand here as well, is that this is a lithium company, but it is not a simple lithium miner. This will be a lithium company which will produce materials directly for the battery industry. Mm-hmm. So we are currently undergoing the studies which will allow us to finance and bank this project next year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have a PEA already out, right?
Absolutely.
And I think those numbers were quite favorable, what I saw on your website and in your presentation. Maybe you can comment a bit on that.
Certainly. It's a very compelling investment decision. So what we see at the moment is a simple, very simple mining operation, a very low strip ratio open pit. We've got excellent infrastructure, which allows us to make a very high margin lithium product. So that lithium carbonate will transfer into a substantial NPV, far greater than the capital input required for the project, and for a very long life mine.
When you say high margin, can you specify this a bit more?
Well,
what are your, let's say, expected production costs? Where is the market today? What is your assumption for the market?
Certainly. Because of the benefits that I mentioned regarding the mining style and infrastructure available, it means that we're estimating a cost of about $5,000 US per tonne of battery-grade lithium carbonate.
That's all in, right?
Absolutely. So you put that in context. Our numbers which were released were substantial NPVs in excess of $400 million based on a $10,000 per tonne price. But I could reference the market right now, which is trading somewhere in the $15,000 to $18,000 range, and that means that we'd be looking at a $1 billion NPV for this project.
So we look on a margin between 100 and 300%, like.
Absolutely.
That's quite healthy, I would say.
Look, and that is because we're the recipient, and a very lucky recipient of what I've mentioned before, such as the nature and the style of the deposit, which is well understood, and at the surface it outcrops, and with a high value workforce and infrastructure solution around us.
Okay. You are in the Extremadura in Spain. I mean, Spain is anyway, it's a European country, so it's from infrastructure side, from political side, everything is in good shape, I would call it. What else, or let's say, what advantages do you have that you can go on such a fast way into production? Because I think from what I saw in your information is like, you want to be in production like 2020 around, is that correct?
Yes, and that is achievable, Joachim. And what it means is you have to be really going as fast as you can. So what gives you the confidence to do that, I think, is, let's go back to how we became involved with this project. The government of the region called for a public tender to attract investment to start this operation. So when you have that kind of confidence, you can really go ahead as fast as you can. And this deposit had been studied previously by another Spanish company. It's formerly been mined into the 1960s for related products. And as such, there was extensive drilling and studies in place. So it's a great springboard for us to go forward on.
Well, so you took advantage of, let's say, former work. You got all the data, which is really important. And you really could rely on it and put your work on top.
Absolutely. And we have a very strong Spanish partner who is accelerating that sort of access to development.
So that means you have a local partner already. That helps always a lot. Talking about partners, I mean, what I saw from your project, this is really attractive. And I would say it makes, the car industry and the battery industry in Europe a bit maybe more independent to the Asian suppliers. Mustn't you face a lot of interest from, let's say, the large companies in the world that want to, joint venture with you or partner with you or whatever, or finance you even,
Look, and I've got to be careful what I say here because I'm very excited.
But you have interest already, right?
And that takes up a lot of our time now. Is actually advancing the technical work is one thing, but really because we have such a short time frame to where this could be in production, we're now spending more time dealing with the people and actually that interaction. So, yes, I think you used the correct word there. That it helps to make the European industry, more independent. And that is something which isn't lost on these people.
Yeah, because, I mean, even Germany wants to build 1 or 2 gigafactories, like with Bosch, Mercedes, BMW, etc. And I could imagine that they, could have put an eye on you guys maybe as a supplier. I could imagine, I can say that, not you, of course.
Exactly. And I think that you'd be quite an educated man if you thought that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's come a bit more on the next 6 to 12 months. You're working on a feasibility study,
yes,
right? And of course, important, you have the money to finish the whole work. Yeah. And so when can we expect the feasibility?
Look, we're aiming to deliver the feasibility study at the end of this year. So by that, early next year, we're in a situation where we really have everything in place in order to finalise strategic investment. And that's something that we're working on at the moment. And your last question did mean that we touched upon that. So the study is working in conjunction with other people to make sure that the final product is what people want and what people need exactly, and the amount they need and when they need it. So 2018 is a solid year of work. 2019, I think, is going to be a spectacular year as well, going forward as these things really take their own life.
Okay. I saw in your PEA, I saw you have a 16-year mine life, and you have 24 years of production life. What is the difference?
Well, look, I touched upon this very early on. This project is exceptional because it sticks out of the ground. So the strip ratio is very low. So that we're not mining much waste material in place of the ore.
I think it's 2 to 1, right?
Yes. And so therefore, we'll take the highest grade material first to make the most profitability and make the project as robust as possible. But we will stockpile material which we can then treat. Because the margin is so high, even lower grade material will be producing lithium carbonate from that site for decades.
Fantastic. Exploration-wise, what's around, let's say, that open pit?
At the moment,
still some room for exploration?
Exactly. So we're talking a multi-decade production with maybe a third of the known resource being exploited. So therefore, whilst there is exploration potential, we already have the ability to mine and produce for several decades before we have to find anything new. This is the second largest lithium deposit in Europe. This is a substantial deposit on the world scale.
Fantastic. What's money in the bank?
At the moment,
we do not have to worry about?
Well, look, we've got approximately $5 million in the bank right now, and that's adequate to do the study that we require in order to take it to feasibility level.
And then anyway, we talk about project finance and going to production, right?
Absolutely. That really comes down to where we sit with new investors and offtake and the strategic direction for the project going forward.
Fantastic. Adrian, thank you very much. That was a really good insight into your company. And I'm pretty sure we hear a lot more from you, and probably some news flow is also coming up then towards more the year end, I would call it. And,
I wouldn't think we'd have to wait that long. We've got lots of stuff happening quite regularly now, as you can see, whilst we're doing this work.
Yeah, but also I think with the feasibility, then you have the green light.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So we look forward on that, and thank you very much, and we keep fingers crossed, and I would say please execute, because we need your lithium.
Thank you very much.
It's
been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there was Adrian Byass, the CEO of Infinity Lithium, and you heard it. It's a lithium project in the heart of Europe, in Spain, and this is what those markets are really need here, because we are going to get to have some new, more gigafactories like the ones Tesla built in the US, and they have to be powered with lithium, because otherwise you cannot build any batteries. And I think Infinity Lithium is really on a very fast track to go into production. From here now, it's approximately 2 years around. They should be in production. And of course, of the attractiveness of the project, with a margin between 100 and up to 200%, depending on the market prices, with all-in costs below $5,000 a ton. I think this is a very favorable project, very favorable company. $5 million in the bank. That's what we want to see. So check out the company. Thanks for watching us. Bye-bye from Switzerland.